I used artificial intelligence from the research lab Midjourney to assist me in making this J.C. Leyendecker-inspired portrait of Harry Styles. The final result still took me hours to edit and paint, but the ideation phase was done in collaboration with Midjourneys AI. I got access to the beta 4 days ago, and I've been having a little too much fun experimenting with it. So hello, I'm Anna Maria, a freelance illustrator and designer, and here is the process I followed to create the final Harry Styles fan art piece using AI. First, I typed in an Imagine prompt to the Midjourney bot on Discord. These were the first 4 variations it displayed. This is super impressive. The colors are there, composition is coming along, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I went a little overboard making 60 plus or minus variations and upscales, guiding the AI on which image to work from. I then collected all the variations into one Photoshop file, and like an art director might do with an artist, I wrote notes and circled parts of each variation I felt worked for my end goal. I wasn't sure how I could return my thoughts back to Midjourney, but then I found out you can include URL images in your Imagine prompts. This is when I decided the next best thing would be to make a photo bash / painting of the direction I felt the piece needed to go in based on my feedback. Here I am painting the photo bash. The photo bash piece is basically ready to paint over at this point. I fed the image back to Midjourney along with a text description. I got 4 new variations and decided to use this upscaled image as part of my photo bash. Happy with this direction of the painting, I spent some happy hours painting and looking at references of Harry Styles and J.C. Leyendecker to create the final art piece. I'm absolutely thrilled to be using Midjourney. I think it's really exciting. The technology is new and fresh, and it's going to completely revolutionize the design and art industry. I see using artificial intelligence as more of a collaborator. This really helps with the ideation and the sketch phase of your project. I remember when I studied in art school about how when photography was introduced and more people had access to it, people were afraid that this would get rid of the need for artists, but it didn't. J.C. Leyendecker and many other commercial artists of his time used photography to help their ideas move along. And I think the same thing will happen with Midjourney, DALL-E 2, and any other artificial intelligence tool that will come along. So how will visual AI tools like Midjourney and DALL-E 2 be used? We are still in the infancy of a world with AI-generated images, but I do have some ideas on its use. I'm absolutely amazed by the programmers and developers shaping this tool. So first of all, I think big companies will definitely use it and will happily pay for corporate-level access with privacy and copyright acquisition in place. Cosmopolitan magazine already used a DALL-E 2 generated image for a magazine cover while collaborating with digital artist Karen X Chen, who you might know from TikTok. The magazine and Karen art directed the photo until it was just right. I wonder if there will be new potential roles as basically AI visual text experts for artists and writers who can effectively describe visual ideas. They would be AI collaborators with good writing skills, curation skills, and would understand the commands they can feed the AI with. So if you are a creative writer who also loves to draw, or an artist who loves to write, I think this tool is in your future. This will level up already well-known industry giants. It will also level up the work of indie creators. Indie creators will be able to use visual AI to pitch their ideas, and creators with less access to funding or who can't afford bigger teams or are nowhere near creative industries can use this to start exploring and art directing their ideas in collaboration with the AI. Artists will be able to generate a graphics library of visual inspiration for their projects from their very own ideas. I think it feels a lot like working with another artist. You're able to bounce off your vision the way an art director of a big production might do with a team of artists. Small artists who still have their day job or are not connected to the industry will be able to level up their work and share their ideas more effectively. With social media and the internet, artists now have access to tutorials, other artists, and sharing their work in ways we could have never imagined before. Art directors and recruiters can now see the work of any artist and reach out to them for work even if they live in the middle of nowhere. So hey, does this mean concept artists will go away? I don't think so. I think this will become a part of concept artists' process the way some concept artists use photo bash techniques or 3D models. Remember, concept art is more than just a pretty painting. It's understanding the story, the characters, and the location, and visually explaining the what and why things work in that universe. Concept artists are needed to actually make the pieces of media you interact with every day. Games, movies, TV shows, and comics will still need sequential artists, character designers, prop designers, background artists, and other kinds of artists. They work with art directors, writers, 3D modelers, animators, and more. Will this change in the future? I can't say for sure, but I really don't think so. AI will just become part of the process, and I hope artists will see it as a tool rather than an enemy or a threat. This will have an effect on commissions. So far, AI does a much better job with landscapes and realism than it does with cartoony characters, but this will most likely change in the next few years. Commissions will stay because people will still want work made by an artist who understand their vision or have a unique vision themselves. The artist can use it for inspiration, or the person seeking a commission can take their idea as far as they can with AI before reaching out to an artist to create the final visual look of the piece they are requesting. Artists might even be commissioned just to refine the images made by AI. Remember, artists spend years learning and honing their craft. Having a fully customized art piece from an artist you love will still be a luxury. Artists deserve to be paid their worth no matter what tools they use. On the other hand, AI will let people who either cannot afford to pay for commissions or who do not take artists very seriously to get an image they want fast, even if it isn't fully customized with an artist's vision. If you are an artist or looking to become an artist, here are a few things I think are important about using AI in your art. Use it for inspiration and for ideations. For example, let's say you have an original character in your graphic novel and you want help coming up with ideas for a unique wardrobe. You could always start by using AI to create, let's say, an Easter bunny pastel striped sweater, just to see some inspiration for it before you make your character wear it. Remember, if you are using Midjourney, your ideas aren't private. Paid users are able to see the amazing images everyone else has made along with their text prompts. Only those with corporate subscriptions have access to complete privacy, so if there is an idea you aren't ready to share yet, it might be best to keep working on it away from AI image generators. By using this tool, you also grant Midjourney a perpetual worldwide, non-exclusive, no-charge, royalty-free, irrevocable copyright license to reproduce, prepare derivative works of, publicly display, publicly perform, so on and so forth, sub-license, etc., any of the images that come out of your text prompts. This makes sense because the images created through Midjourney are basically a collaboration between the person writing the text prompt and their powerful AI. However, don't be too sad because Midjourney does grant paid users the right to deal in the assets created without restriction, including the right to use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, and or sell copies of the assets with some restrictions and licenses outlined by Midjourney's rules. Right from the beginning of all of this, there should be absolutely no shame in using AI to aid in the creation of your art. Just let everyone know you used it. You would give credit to another artist or writer that worked on your video game, so you should give credit where credit is due if you use AI. You can either put the credit in your caption or show it in your process if that's something you like to share. If you are a beginner artist or still in art school, I'm sure many will say to stay away from AI if you want to become a great artist. I think you should still use it. Have fun experimenting, but don't rely on it 100%. You still need to hone your craft, learn the skills, and practice so you can become the artist you want to be, and then also effectively manipulate whatever images come from AI. So if this is something you're interested in, you can go to the website from either Dolly 2 or from Midjourney and sign up for the beta. Or if you're a mutual artist I know, I'd be happy to share an invite, just DM me. I think it's funny that when I started digital painting, people would always ask me if the computer painted it for me, and of course it didn't. The hours I spent on each piece served as proof. Now there is a real chance people can say, yes, the computer AI did paint it for me. Hopefully this doesn't have negative consequences for artists. Some artists are already bullied into having to prove they made their art by recording themselves. I hope that AI will be seen as a tool to make more stories and ideas come to life. I am excited to see what artists and designers who are much more experienced and talented than me will do, and how this will be integrated into the process creative teams use. Will you be using AI in your art? Let me know what your experience has been so far if you are currently using it. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. My handle is Anna Ward Art. Have a great week.